Hey, child of God, we have made it through January and February. We're almost through winter. And if you're doing this chronological Bible reading along with me, we've made it through the book of Leviticus. And I know a lot of you, if you're doing this along with me, you're thinking, what did I just read? We never hear Leviticus read in church. What is up with all these weird laws? And, why in the world would God ever ask or demand us to follow them? And here's the truth. A lot of what we just read in the book of Leviticus no longer has bearing on us. The book of Leviticus was written for a very specific people. The Israelite people, the Hebrew people, a nation that was supposed to be God's people. But we as Christians, we live under a new covenant, followers of Christ, that Jesus Christ is our way forward. And so a lot of these laws that were temple-based in Jerusalem no longer have any purpose for us. But that doesn't mean that, if you've read Leviticus, there's a lot of things that are troubling, and there's a lot of things that we're trying to make sense of and wonder, how can God, who is good, who is loving, who is almighty, ask the people to do this? And here's my advice. If you have a study Bible, sometimes it is so beneficial when you come across those tough Bible verses to pull that study Bible open and read it, and to get those little notes that accompany those troubling verses, because a lot of those hard verses, especially in Leviticus, once you understand that the why and the purpose and what was going on in the world at the time, once you get all that, well, it makes sense, and you understand why God would tell the people to do this. And if your study Bible doesn't have a note on whatever's troubling you, by all means, send me a message, reach out to me. I would love to see if I can help. I can't promise that I will be able to, but if I can, I'd love to help you make meaning and sense to some of these harder verses in Leviticus. But what I want to lift up as we look back on Leviticus is this one verse that really stood out to me. And it stood out to me because I had trouble this last week. It was Monday, and it was one of those days, negative 24 degrees or something like that out there. I came to work. I spent the entire day here at church, and at the end of the day, 5 p.m., I walk out to my car, turn the ignition, and it wouldn't start. Try it again, it doesn't start again. And I thought, oh no, of all days to have car problems, this is not the day I want this to happen. Now, to make a longer story shorter, I was able to get it started with some help of a church member. I got home, but then the next day I realized, okay, there's something worse going on with my car. I got to take it into the shop and get it repaired. But when I took it to the shop, I found out that the damage to the car was a lot greater than I had hoped or anticipated. It was going to be $2,000 to fix this car. And my car, just to let you know, it's a 2015 Nissan Versa with over 100,000 miles on it. And I thought, I've been dreaming and wanting and planning to get myself a truck for going on 2 or 3 years now. Now might be the time. Am I right? Can I hear an amen out there? I need myself a new truck, and this just might be God's way of telling me, Casey, it's time. Go get yourself a truck. You deserve it. But, truth be told, I don't have the funds to get myself a truck right now. I don't have it in my savings, or I don't have it in our budget, our Linneman family budget right now. And if I was going to do that, I was going to have to take out a car loan and just make payments on it. And as I sat there and had this all going through my head, I had God's word in my heart, in my mind, and it was from the book of Leviticus. And so, we try and make sense and try to make meaning of Leviticus and what can it possibly teach us as modern day Christians. I had God's word in my ear this week, and I'm glad that I did. So from Leviticus 25:36. Just a very small verse, but God's word tells us, do not take interest in advance or otherwise make a profit, but fear your God. So God, and in God's word for the Israelite and the Hebrew people, taking interest or loaning something, loaning money, loaning property, you were not allowed to charge interest. And for 1,000 years, the Israelite people, if they would loan money, they would not take interest back. And I had that in my heart. I just had read it earlier, and God was telling me, Casey, you can do this. You can take out, $15,000 loan to get yourself a nice used truck or whatever it might be. And I thought, I could do that, or I could just wait. I can continue to save up money and one day pay cash for this truck. And here's the truth. We live in a day and age, 2021, where everybody has credit cards. Pretty much everybody has car payments. Everybody has a mortgage. Everybody is making payments on something. And this one verse in Leviticus does not preclude to take out interest or to make a purchase and having to take out a loan. It's not telling you that you can't do that. But I'll tell you, God's word really has something to teach us, because when we find ourselves in a mountain of debt, boy, our lives are really, really difficult, and we're paying the bank back, and we're just finding ourselves stressed out, and our marriages are more difficult. The number one reason a couple gets divorced is over money, is over finances, and so I think sometimes the allure of whatever we want to have right then and there, and my allure was this truck. I could not wait to get this truck, and fortunately I did the right thing. I think I did the right thing. Got my car fixed, and I'll continue to drive it until I have enough money saved up to get that truck one day, and when I do, it's going to feel really good. But that's God's word for the week. That is God's advice for the week. I hope you're reading God's word every day. If you're doing this chronological Bible, I'm so very proud of you. You're 2 weeks into it, and you could say we're through the toughest of the entire books of the Bible. Keep at it. And if you're not doing the chronological Bible reading along with me, I'd advise you to read God's holy word each and every day. Find 10 minutes to dive into God's word. He is good. He is holy. He will show us the way. Thank you so very much. Hope to see you again, same time, same place, every Monday. I'll be posting a devotion as we walk through God's holy word here in 2021.